Hey, it's me, Kanati. Did you know that I was in a movie? Well, actually, two movies. Two movies and an episode of a TV show. You're probably thinking to yourself, there's no way the Dinosaur Man was in a movie or a TV show. No, he's on the internet. He's just a guy. He's just a dude. No, I was in two movies and a TV show. One of the movies was the SpongeBob movie. Not the good one. The second movie. So the year was 2013, and my mom heard on the radio that they were hiring for the SpongeBob movie to be extras. So of course, me being a kid who really likes movies, just graduated high school, and would have loved that opportunity, she told me immediately, go email these people, send some screenshots of yourself, and see if you get the gig. So I did, and I think I still have those emails. I think I printed them out, the confirmation of them being like, yep, you're good to go. Here's your address and everything that you need to, be at, whatever. And I think I still have those emails. I printed them out and put them in a little box. So it was 5 days of filming. I had to be there, ready to go by 5 a.m. As a teenager, I didn't like that, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So we filmed in Tybee Island, which is in Georgia, which I lived in South Carolina. I lived in Hilton Head, South Carolina for quite a bit, about a year and a half. And I was like 30 minutes away from there, so it really wasn't that bad. I got a hotel for the first night, just so I had some place to stay, of course. But I was all by myself. So 5 a.m. the next day comes around, and I make it to the venue, and we're just kind of hanging out. There was it was like a restaurant on the beach, and there was this really cool like shark head that popped out of the wall. I don't remember what the restaurant was called, but it was cool. Then we get everybody grouped up. All the extras come together, and the PAs, the personal assistants, and anybody that was dealing with the extras specifically gathered us all up. We went down to the beach, and I was already in costume, and basically the costume was just look like you're getting ready for the beach. So I had some swim trunks, I had a bright blue shirt, and I was like, okay, this is it. And then we went down, and they were like, yeah, okay, you go here, you go there, you do this, you do that, and roll. And that was it. So it was literally just 5 days of every so often somebody telling me what to do, but it was just like a day at the beach for 5 days. It was really actually kind of fun. It was the most fun I have ever had doing anything. And yes, I did get paid for it. It was only $65 a day, but when I was 18 years old, well, I hadn't even turned 18 yet. I was 17 at the time, but yeah, I was ecstatic. I was like, oh my God, $65 a day for 5 days, just chilling at the beach. This is amazing. So yeah, it was really fun. So some small things that actually happened. So if you guys have seen the movie, I'm going to spoil some beach scenes. I guess that doesn't really matter because the movie's really not that good. But anyway, there's a scene where the little gang, they get onto a sandcastle, and this little girl sees them and is like, oh, look, it's little creatures on my sandcastle. And then her brother shows up and he's like, intruders! They need to get away or whatever. And he kicks the sandcastle. Dude, when I tell you how goofy that whole scene was, we were all laughing. Like, you could hear some chuckles, and like they had to stop everything and be like, guys, get it, these two are actors, but like you gotta keep it a little bit professional because we the microphones. And we were like, yeah. But this kid, he was acting his heart out, and he got paid more than I did. He was like 7 or something, 7 or 8, I don't know, but he got paid more than I did because he had speaking lines. But they actually used like some sort of like air tube underneath the sand to chuck sand out towards the camera, so then it looked like he actually like kicked it. He had to do it quite a few times because he didn't time, they just couldn't time his kick with the effect of the sand hitting the camera well enough, so it took quite a long time. I did see some of the motion capture characters, so I never saw anybody that was actually from the movie. Like, SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, all them. I just saw people in black suits, dressed up, because I knew what motion capture was, but you could tell who was who, because SpongeBob was just kind of normal. He didn't really have anything extra on. And then you had Patrick, who had a ring around him to kind of show that he's fat or whatever. And then you had Sandy, which was probably the funniest one. It was a woman in, your standard like little motion capture suit, but she had a squirrel on top of her head. She had like a little helmet on, and like a squirrel was on top of that, just to show that was Sandy. It was hilarious. It was so funny. And I was actually going to have some speaking lines. I guess I looked old enough to be somebody's significant other, and they pulled me aside. I think this was on like the third day or something, and they're like, hey, have you ever spoken in any movies? And I was like, no, this is my first time being in a movie. And they're like, great, so we're gonna have you do some speaking lines. And I was like, okay, cool. Which, if you're ever an extra and these people like tell you like, hey, you're gonna have speaking lines, or hey, have you ever done this, are you comfortable doing this, just say yes, because honestly, most of the time, if within reason, obviously, none of this Dan Schneider stuff, but like, if it's within reason, it's always a great idea, because they'll probably want you back another day. So anyway, yeah, I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And so I was supposed to sit next to this kind of older woman. I couldn't tell how old she was. She was definitely like old enough to be like my aunt or my mom or something. And she was supposed to look at Antonio Banderas, which he never showed up. Like I said, none of the main cast was there. But she was supposed to look at Antonio Banderas' character, because he shows up with a pirate ship that turns out to be like a car that you sell burgers out of. And she was supposed to look at his car and then look back at him and be like, nice rims. And then I was supposed to react like, hey, I'm right here, kind of thing. And that's exactly how they described it. And it was just a quick little thing. I don't think they used it. I don't remember. I've only seen that movie like twice, so I don't know if they actually did use it, but I just think it's funny that they were going to pick me, somebody who's not even 18 yet, was going to do a scene kind of like this. It's nothing bad, but I just thought it was funny. But speaking of Antonio Banderas' pirate ship, there was a scene where when he's coming up onto shore, he's speeding through, he's just trying to sell them burgers. So he runs into a lifeguard stand, which behind the scenes, he ran into two of them. So they had the lifeguard stand, propped up and everything. The lifeguard got up there. The ship was an actual car. It was sitting out by the sands and stuff. And I'm sitting in a lounge chair. If you're facing the lifeguard stand, I'm in the back left of the lifeguard stand. I don't know if you can see me there, but I am back there. And that car goes fast. It flew through it. Just like the lifeguard has to jump off the left side of it and like hit a crash pad, and then the truck just goes right into it. And then we all had to like get up and like take off, because we're like, oh my god, this guy is just coming out of the water and running things over. But yeah, I actually like was scared the first time, and then the second time I was like, oh yeah, I know what to do. And then I just like pretended to take off. But that first time I was actually scared. I thought I was gonna get hit. And then other than that, yeah, it was just a lot of, hanging out and just having people tell me what to do. They're like, hey, take your shirt off for this scene. You're getting ready to tan. And I'm like, all right. And then they're like, hey, we're going to put you here. The camera's going to come by this way. Just read this magazine. And I'm like, okay. And just, it was great. It was awesome. Now, where's the proof that I'm actually in this movie? Well, let me show you. So when Antonio Banderas' character is about to show up on the beach, I'm right there. That's me. Those are my board shorts. That's that blue shirt I was talking about. That's me. But the hair is different, right? Like, there's got to be another scene I'm in, right? Like I said. Now, as you can see, we got Patrick and Mr. Krabs, and there I am again. I'm reading a Studio Ghibli article, and I just decided to read as everybody was just doing their thing. I know my hair's different now, but take a look at what I looked like back in 2013. See? There I am. That's my senior year photo. Now, I was in another movie and an episode of a TV show, like for part 2.